I worked in the jails for 12 years, 7 years here and 5 years in America. I was part-time, so 5 years in America. I would ask, the inmates, discuss their problem, listen to them. I can tell you that more than half of them, probably 60% of them, they realize that they committed crimes because of bad friends, bad environment. They were influenced. Therefore, for the emotional stability, why we need good companions. And once, when we talk about the Quran, I went to Lithgow, inmates came and they started talking, where are you? Where the Muslims? Why don't you bring money for us? The Jews, they give $500 each week to their inmates. Why the Muslims are not giving us money? Why Saudi Arabia is not sending us money here? I didn't say anything. I realized that if I say yes or no, I'm not going to solve any problem. I said, brothers, can we first recite the Quran? So I recited Surah Yasin. It was a bit emotional for me and for them as well. And alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent His rahmah over us. And we all felt peace. Then we had a good conversation. At the end of the meeting, the one who said, why the Saudis are not helping us or Turkey is not helping us, he said, well, it's our fault. This is not a place for Muslims to be here. And therefore, for bringing that emotional stability, the role of the Quran. At the end of the time, how our iman helps us. I visited a lady who was an American convert, and her age was 65, probably around that, maybe 70. Anyway, I gave her also a booklet, the Ustad Nursi's Message for Sick. 2 or 3 days later, I went to see her again. The nurse told me, oh, thank you for your visit. I said, why? She said, look, after your visit, probably next day, we received her results that she got cancer, and she has approximately 6 months to go. So we went her room, and when we told her, she was smiling, happy, because when they wanted to give such bad news, they would call the psychologist, doctor, definitely, nurses, just in case something happened, to help. And she said, well, I'm ready to die. And they asked her, how come? Look, Imam brought me a booklet. I read it again and again and again. I'm ready to die. And so nurse was very thankful to me. And then I visited her. I said, and she was so happy. She said that I made, I think, 10 copies of that booklet I sent to my friends who are sick. And she said that how many times she read it, when she read, she cried. Read she again and again. Because it was about the concept of illness in Islam. How, when you get sick, you are so close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you don't complain, you are joining the prophets, the companions, because when they got sick, they did not complain. It's like a very spiritual companion. We are following the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Don't we want to be with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Of course. So when we have such calamities, illnesses, if we do not complain, and spiritually, we are joining them, we are connected to them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us and gave us this body. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reflecting His names. If you don't get hungry, how can we know that there's a Razaq, the provider? No. If you don't get sick, how should we know that there's a Shafi, the healer? So therefore, with all of that, and she read and she said, I'm so happy, I'm ready to die. In another occasion, I want to just, the benefit of the Quran. I visited a lady that she was dying in the intensive care. I asked permission from the nurse first, then I put myself in her shoes, sit down and recited Surah Yasin and made dua. And when I did this, again, it was a bit emotional for me too. It's not easy at that point, What do you need? So when I was about to leave, a nurse told me, "What did you do to this patient?" I said, "Is something wrong?" She said, "No. All vital signs got better." I said, "This is the miracle of the Quran. It's not me." Then I decided to do my PhD actually about the effects of prayer on Muslim patient well-being. So the recitation of the Quran is really a remedy for our spiritual wounds. And because on our daily life, we are facing many challenges. Some of these challenges are impacting us negatively, particularly our faith. And therefore, when we read the Quran, when we listen to the Quran, and alhamdulillah, that Quran heals our spiritual wounds.